MrBeast's new Amazon show is absolutely brutal. Hello you gorgeous donuts. Today we're going to be covering MrBeast's new Amazon game show, which is basically him kind of recreating Squid Games but with less murder and actual people. When you click onto Amazon, the brief description of this show that it gives you is, I gathered 1,000 people to fight for 5 million... I'm reading it in his voice. For $5 million, the largest cash prize in TV history. We're also giving away a private island, Lamborghinis, and millions more in cash throughout the competition. Go watch to see the greatest show ever made. Actually, I'd argue Married at First Sight, the greatest show ever made. So already he's lying about something. It's just so MrBeast. Like, look at the photo of this. Like, it's even like a YouTube thumbnail. He's even airbrushed his teeth and his eyes for an Amazon thumbnail. You can take the boy out of Photoshop, but you can't take the Photoshop out the boy. And I believe this is the entire premise of the show. Like, MrBeast is wanting to break loads of records. I believe he's broke 40 Guinness World Records at this point, including the largest cash prize, the most contestants, the most cameras, which, that's like, can you really, like, break that record? That's like breaking the record for the longest tour. It's like, does anyone really want that award? Most money given away in a first episode, most cables ran for a show, and largest island given away in a show. Has there ever been a show where an island's been given away? Never mind the largest one. Also, are you really taking the crown for having the most cables? Like, at this point, you're just giving an award for anything. The most portaloos on site, the most amount of poops taken. I'll take that record, thank you very much. Put it in the book. Now, I have watched every single episode of this show that is currently available as of the time of recording, and in this video, I kind of want to just break down maybe the first couple of episodes, talk you through the insane stunts that takes place in here, and how it looks like he's actually murdering these contestants when they're eliminated. I also want to discuss, like, the actual contestants and, like, kind of discuss the human nature, because some of the things that these people do to gain money is absolutely wild. And towards the end, I'm going to talk about some criticisms of the show and some things that I would like to have seen in it, and then my overall rating. So let's just get into it. So the episode starts off with MrBeast standing on top of £5 million, which is like a pretty crazy sight.
A record-breaking number of 1,000 players is currently stampeding this arena. But only one of these...
That is absolutely insane. At 1,000 people. It's the fact he's standing above them. Like, it's just so... It's so dystopian. The whole thing of Squid Games was, like, kind of shown how, like, rich people kind of, you know, use people who need money for their entertainment, and then MrBeast just took that as, like, base level and went, you know what, that's actually a sick idea, why don't I do that? They've even got, like, the people in masks here, like Squid Game. The show then does some initial interviews with some of the contestants, saying the reason that they're here.
I grew up homeless, and now I want to help other homeless kids, and that $5 million would mean everything to help me get there.
Oh, that's amazing. Killer now. Brutally. Everyone's got a sob story, love. Sorry, I'm joking.
I win $5 million. I could use that to make passive income for the rest of my life.
Okay, I hope he goes first. I genuinely hope he is like the very first one out and wins nothing, so you can make passive income. Oh, what are you coming on here for? You're coming on here for some sort of investment opportunity? He definitely pretends to be on a podcast with someone on TikTok. You know, one of them solo podcasts where they're just staring at the wall.
It would provide me the opportunity to retire my dad, completely getting my whole family out of the poverty pipeline.
This is so dark. This is already so dark. Yeah, I need this money to get my entire family out of poverty. And then there's just one of the MrBeast team walking, doing cartwheels next to you. My God.
There's a lot of clowns that want to donate the money. I'm buying jet skis and gold chains.
Do you know, some of these people, they're just not great people, are they, really? Calling someone a clown because they want to get their entire family out of poverty. Great choice, my friend. Also, I watched a video from somebody that appeared on the show, and they said that the money that MrBeast is standing on isn't real, which I kind of would half suspect. That would be, like, too dystopian if it was. However, these people didn't know it at the time, so, like, surely, you know, like, law of averages, there's 1,000 people here, and there's one MrBeast. Surely you can all just rush him. Why didn't they do that? Obviously, I know it's fake, but they didn't know that. Now, my overall assessment of this intro is that I thought it was great. Like, I thought it was very fast-paced, it got you up to date, it kind of got you kind of excited to see what's coming next. However, it is definitely not a TV show intro. It seems like MrBeast has obviously had like a heavy influence on the edit. It hasn't been like the Amazon team, because everything's very YouTubey. It's like, okay, we need to get people's attention, we don't want them to click off, etc. Whereas I think with Amazon, you're allowed to let the show breathe a little bit, because it's a little bit like being on Spotify with a podcast. People are like searching to watch it and are going to give you time. Like, I don't feel like everything needs to be 1,000 miles per hour. And at this point, I'm just hoping that the rest of the show kind of, you know, kind of chills out a bit and gives people kind of like, it gives you like an opportunity to connect with some characters and slows down a little bit. But judging by a MrBeast YouTube video, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, the first game begins, which doesn't, I believe, actually include the £5 million overall prize fund. They actually give away £1 million before a game begins. And basically, every single contestant has like a little tablet in front of them which says take the bribe. It's like a button. And if they press it, they take however much money MrBeast has got at the front desk currently. However, they must share that prize fund with every single other person that also takes that bribe. So if it's £10,000 and 10 people take the bribe, then obviously everybody goes home with 1,000.
What will my family think if I say no to so much money?
Take the deal.
Oh, we got one! We got it!
Oh my god, this is like so brutal. It's quite good though. Like, I kind of like it. It's like a first game. It's kind of shown how, like, to be fair, if you're desperate for money, you're just going to take that. It's like straight away. You don't have to go through any of these grueling games. You just win money straight away. Are you joking? Every time MrBeast has an interview with somebody, he just doesn't let them finish. Look at this.
Whoa, 90 grand's a lot!
That's cute. Compared to the $5 million?
Under 1 minute remains!
He's like, yeah, I don't care what you're saying. Under 1 minute. Is anyone listening to this girl with the red hair? Because I'm not. Not me.
Congratulations! You each just won a little under $20,000!
Surely, like, you go out in the first round because there's a chance that you're not going to win money, like, going on. Like, surely £20,000, you just bank that. I instantly would take that. It's so interesting to see how they've, like, produced this and edited it, because it's just like a YouTube video but on Amazon. Like, this is not like the structure of a TV show at all. Even, like, the text they put on screen. Like, look, like, this is just so YouTubey. Jimmy's also using like loads of like his retention techniques he uses on YouTube, where he's like, you have to watch on to see this. So do you want to see a full city I build in 25 days? It's just interesting to see how this is going to work. And I would really love to see like how long people watch for on Amazon, because I don't know if people would get kind of tired of this, or if this is like a new genre of game shows we're going to see, how they're going to be structured. Because I imagine if you're watching this for like 10 episodes back to back, you're going to get whiplash. It's so quick. The next challenge then involves all of the people splitting into teams by which column they're in. And the only way for your team, like the entire column, to progress to the next round is for one person in your team to sacrifice themselves. Yeah, I'm not kidding. You genuinely need to sacrifice yourself. Remember, this is a MrBeast production, so, you know, not even human sacrifices are off the table at this point. I don't know what's gonna come for the rest of this video. I think you should give them like a choice of like two evils. Like, I don't know, you must sacrifice your soul to the devil or eat one Feastables bar. What's it gonna be? I think it is quite an interesting one, but I also feel like this is just gonna create so much toxicity amongst the group, because if there's gonna be sacrifices like this going down the line, there's gonna be bullying, there's gonna be so much like intimidation techniques. When money's involved, like, it changes how people act. It can completely change people's personalities.
I feel like I have to sacrifice myself.
No, you don't. You literally don't at all. Like, I'm not. You're not an Avenger, love. Right? What is it? You're not Tony Stark. You know, I've got to save the world. I've got to sacrifice myself. Unfortunately, no, you don't, love. Just stay in. Just stay in. That's the worst financial decision ever. Not taking 20k like 5 minutes before and then sacrificing yourself for nothing. That's the essence of self-sabotage, love. These people wouldn't do it for you, so don't do it for them.
I just want people to know I really do care about them, and I wish more games were like that.
The thing is, with like MrBeast in his videos, like they're really good for retention and, like, you know, making sure people don't click off. But what would have been really good to see there is maybe like an interview with that. I know there's 1,000 people so you can't get round everybody, but they have all the footage, like, in one single go. Like, they shoot everything, and then they edit everything after everything's shot. So I would have liked to have seen, like, a cutscene where she talks about just maybe just her personality or anything, just something to connect with these characters. Because you just laugh at her when she says that. You don't, like, feel anything towards her because you know nothing about her. All you know is a number. You don't even get, like, a name tag. So it's hard to find, like, a connection with anybody in the competition. I wonder if they will do that later on, like when there's less people and you kind of want to root for like a certain person. MrBeast then says that only 9 out of the 12 columns will proceed to the next round, so obviously it just kind of puts a little timer on it so people have to decide quick. And one thing it really exposes is just people's like human nature. Like, people are screaming at people to sacrifice themselves. It's like if you're screaming at somebody to like give their place for you to go forward, you just sacrifice yourself. Like, if you're not willing to do it, why should someone else do it for you if you don't even know them?
Somebody, if you're over the age of 70, push the button!
You press the button. You absolute bellend. Stop screaming at an old man to press the button. How about you? Americans are so intense. Like, I feel like if you did this in Britain, like, if somebody pressed the button next to you to sacrifice themselves, you'd just be like, oh, cheers for that, mate. Thank you very much. You're a very kind person. Thank you. Whereas in America, it's like, yeah, man, let's fucking go, man. You're the GOAT, man. They're so animated.
Come on, guys, and we're all gonna go! Press it!
You press it. You press it. What about you? Oh, it's pissing us. Some people piss us off. Like, convincing other people to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. It's so selfish. Look how dramatic this is edited, man. This is ridiculous. Why is it in black and white as if it's like a Vietnam flashback? It's as if they're getting killed. They just have to press a button on a tablet. Is this... I can't tell if it's meant to be dramatic or if it's just meant to be funny.
I got it. Okay, I got it. Yes! Yeah! Yeah, baby!
There's literally just no empathy in this show. There's literally a woman beside him crying her eyes out because she's not progressing to the next round because she's sacrificed herself. And you've got this guy with an unfortunately, you know, kind of receding hairline in front of you going, yeah, baby! Yeah! Yeah, baby! Yeah! I'm like, can I reverse my decision? Can I swap with him, please? Can he go home right now? Now, for the people that did sacrifice themselves and do, like, a really nice thing, how do you think they got them offset? Do you think they, I don't know, give them some water and give them, like, a sandwich and went, go on, right, we'll see you later, thanks for being a part of the game? Kind of. Wait, is he actually killing them? Please get the receding hairline bloke, please. God, I used to pray for times like this. Like, obviously that's CGI, but I actually... as long as... I really hope they're not getting hurt. But it looks kind of cool. And it kind of creates this kind of universe of, like, there's bigger forfeits for going out. But I really hope that was done safely. Otherwise, there's going to be a few lawsuits coming MrBeast's way. What happens if you don't want to? Can you not refuse? I think we need to call someone. I think MrBeast is a mass murderer. Imagine that was the last time, just seeing one of your family members just drop into... I don't even know where they're dropping them. Hopefully somewhere horrible like Sunderland, right? That's a good punishment for going out. You decided to sacrifice yourself, did you? Main character syndrome. You're punished to Sunderland. Now at this point, 705 contestants remain. Like, they've already got rid of 300 contestants. At this point in the show, it seems like they just want to burn through as many contestants as possible. It's almost like the only reason they got 1,000 was to break that record, not for the actual, like, structure or the storyline of the show. In the next game, they basically have to stack these blocks on top of a stand, and if it falls, like, you're eliminated. But I believe it's only, like, the first 100 people's things to fall off the platform are eliminated. Now, not much really happens in this section, apart from, you know, obviously people's stacks falling, but there is one really brutal moment. And this is where one of the woman's blocks falls onto another woman's platform and she asks for it back.
Can you hand it back?
I can't. Sorry. I can't.
Yes, you can. Just... I'll show you. You just go Oh, is this your... There you go, love. Right. That's all you needed to... What do you mean you can't? What do you mean? Yes, you can, love. I can't. I simply can't. And after this challenge, only 605 contestants remain, so we've got rid of basically another 100. And this is where we come to the final game of the first round in this set. It's so funny because obviously they've spent so much on these sets, they've got to just get as many games out of them as possible. Like if they only did one game in these sets, they'd go bankrupt because they're so amazing. In this final game, basically they're split into teams by their row, so it's less people. And MrBeast is offering every single player a bribe, and if you take the bribe that is on screen, you get that money instantly. However, you eliminate every single person in your team and they go home with nothing. So it's really, really brutal and a really, really selfish decision that you have to make. Now, I feel like they've just kind of squeezed this in to get rid of more people because it's a little bit like the first kind of one where there was a bribe. I know people actually go out this time, but I feel like every challenge kind of was elevating, and then I think this one kind of just, it doesn't really topple the last challenge in my opinion. You might disagree with that and that's totally fine. But one thing that is interesting is to like observe the human nature, because people aren't calling people by their numbers anymore. They're trying to like connect with people. They're asking people what their names are, etc., to try and create like a human connection, so you don't want to let someone down. It's interesting how people, like when they need to survive, like what techniques they use.
I've got a briefcase here with $10,000 in it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go for that one.
Did you see that guy who works for MrBeast's face when she said she's gonna go for it? He was like, oh, 10 grand, God. You must be broke. Wouldn't even wipe me arse with that, love.
Hey! Wait, what? Somebody took the 20K!
Oh. You know, if someone did that to me, I'd be... Oh, you would never, ever get rid of me. I'd be creating an alt account, commenting on everything you do. Ooh, we've got a few spots on your face today, haven't you, love? You not want to fix that out before you leave the front door? You would be fuming if someone did this.
It's Beast Games. Like, we're not here to make friends. Fact is, I'm here for myself and my family, and I just...
Hey, gotta respect it.
My question to you, would you have took that 20 grand, your entire team, bearing in mind you don't know them, but also they have their own reasons for being here, and is it your, should it be your decision to remove that for them? It's so tricky, because when you're struggling for, like, you know, you're behind on rent, etc., you really need that money. Like, that is so, especially 20 grand, that's a lot for anybody. I mean, I did say that I didn't think this game was as good, but it does pose some questions that are like you really do have to think about. However, I believe that kid should have waited like a little longer, because next they bring out like a 50k bribe and then 4 people take that. And you can tell that MrBeast like wants to kind of burn through more contestants, because he's doing so many speeches saying like how easy it is just to take the money.
Have you ever had an opportunity in your entire life to raise your finger, tap a button, and instantly give yourself $50,000 in cash?
Bro, it took one motivational speech. She was like, ah, fuck it. She definitely listens to like motivational speeches, like when she wakes up. Like her alarm like title is Rise and Grind, I can tell. It then rises to 80k and another 4 people take it. And you know, like, can you really blame people for taking like £80,000, especially if you're in loads of debt, etc.? You can clear that straight away. However, I don't feel like myself, I could sleep with myself knowing I took that opportunity away from other people. I don't think I could take it, honestly. Like, even if I was struggling, it's hard. And one thing I will give this show credit for is it does kind of like, it does put yourself in the people's shoes a little bit. And basically they need even more people out, so Jimmy puts the bribe up to £100,000 and instantly the people that need to take it just take it. Just before we proceed with the rest of the video, if you haven't already, please do press the subscribe button. Then you'll be a part of the best community on the internet, this little corner of the internet we call the Donuts. In 2025 we're trying to build this community, right, so we can all grow together. So if you want more videos to watch like this when you're bored, do consider pressing the subscribe button.
Sometimes, the people who you think you can trust the most are actually the people you can trust the least.
Sometimes, people you think you can trust the most, you can actually trust the least. Damn. Jimmy Beast. Spitting true facts, right? I don't really feel like that's really that nice. Like, yeah, you can trust people, but you've literally never even met these people. You don't even know their names. Like, you don't really have any trust with these people at all. You're just hoping. It's not really trust. If someone you don't know takes 100 grand, you've just got to be like, oh, well. Just... Now, the remaining contestants that got past this round then head to Beast City, which obviously is an actual city that Mr. Beast built for them to live in. I know I am setting my radius next time I'm on Rightmove too. One mortgage at Beast City, thank you very much. You're telling us I can wake up every single day, have a lunchly and listen to the Hock to Our podcast. Sign us up. I'll do that for 25 years for extortionate monthly payments. And if you didn't think Beast City was already unbelievable, they even have a Feastables calf. Feastables calf! Yeah! Yeah! There's definitely someone that was like, yeah! Feastables! This is so dystopian. I know, like, this is the vibe, but it's just absolutely wild, isn't it? It's the fact that they've all just wearing numbers. We know none of these people's names at all. Over 500 people have went home, and I still know nobody's name from this show. Like, we're nearly at the end of the first episode, and it's been so fast-paced. Like, there's no time to breathe. Like, yeah, I haven't clicked off. I don't feel like I want to tell somebody to watch this show as of yet, because I feel like that comes with emotion. Like, when shows make you feel something, like, I've just watched the Iron Claw movie, and I've told like 5 people to watch that because it gets you like emotionally invested in it. I know that's like a total different genre of media, but the premise is still the same. Now episode 2 starts, and straight away one thing I've realised is Jimmy has really upped like the VFX, like the special effects, the AI of this production. That's one thing he got heavily criticised for with YouTube, especially by that Dogpack 404, is that he fakes a lot of stuff with AI, etc. But with Amazon, like, you've kind of got free reign to do it, and I actually kind of like it, because at least it tries to build out a universe and tries to, like, build this mystical kind of place that doesn't actually exist, but does exist. And the first set of these games involves everybody taking a certain token, and this dictates what they're going to be doing in the first game. And this is, like, the start of where I think the games start to be a little bit, like, hard to follow, because not everything is as explained as it was in the first episode, in my opinion. You kind of just have to go with it. It's almost like you're listening to somebody speaking a different language, and you're just like, yeah, I'll just kind of, I'll be able to just work it out.
Welcome to floor 4. Your game is very simple. Your token said, hope you can catch, which is precisely what this next game is.
This game basically involves you having to catch a ball. Now, when the ball is dropping, if the players do drop it, then the entire team loses and you're out.
$5 million on the line. I'll give you some time to prep.
Now, you would think this would take like 5 or 6 goes, like how many contestants there is. But I believe that actually one team went out straight away because somebody tried to catch it and he just instantly dropped it. You would be pretty gutted if you were part of the production team, like you spent all this money on this set and then it's like done within like 10 seconds. It's like, what's the point? And the person that dropped the ball, like, this is the first time we get like name tags for these people.
Especially after celebrating too.
Andrew, thank you. These people do have names. They're not just numbers. It says he's a former wide receiver. I wonder, obviously that's got to be ironic, right? Like, a wide receiver, somebody that catches the ball in NFL. Like, surely that's ironic. Like, if he actually was a former wide receiver, I can kind of guess why that says former now. I imagine it's a very frustrating kind of game to be a part of. Like, I wonder if I competed in these games, I don't know if you would have a good experience, because a lot of your chance of success is in the hands of other people. Like, it doesn't really matter how skillful you are, how clever you are, and I guess that means it evens it for everybody, but it must be annoying if somebody else messes up your chance when you really need the money. And basically, they use this set again for the next 3 games. I believe that's kind of the structure of the entire show. Like, they have one set for 4 different games per episode, and the next game basically involves having the least amount of contestants before the timer runs out.
The back of your token said less is more. And that's what this game is.
Like, sacrifice ourselves?
No.
I don't know if they've run out of ideas, because we've already had this. It doesn't seem like it's elevated this time. It's like we've already kind of seen this, and I feel like this challenge, like, I've actually enjoyed some of these challenges, but this one kind of falls flat a little bit because it's just the same conversations, kind of. And also, it just creates like a toxic environment between the contestants, which I guess they want because they want drama. But if you're a contestant, like me, who's maybe is a little bit quieter, you're easier susceptible to getting bullied, so it means like the people that you don't want in the show are still progressing just because they're so like self-assured. And also every single person that is left in the show at this point is like, you know, does have selfish tendencies because they haven't sacrificed themselves previously. So it's like we've already tested that, like we've already discovered that about these people.
That phone is actually directly connected to the other team. And since you can't see each other, it's your only line of communication to the other side.
This reminds me so much of the Dark Knight Batman, you know, the one with the Joker, when there's like two ships, one with prisoners and one with like civilians, and one of them has to be blown up and they have to like speak on the phone to each other. I guess it is interesting to see, like, again, how people try and shout at other people to make them sacrifice themselves, but it gets kind of old quick in my opinion.
We need to find out if anyone's willing. Does anybody want to go home?
Let me think about that one. No.
Might have school. Some of you guys might need to get back to a job. Consider maybe to like sacrifice yourself for the greater good.
Hold on a minute, Chad. Father of two, because that's all we know about you. Why don't you sacrifice yourself? Huh? You ever thought about that? Why should I sacrifice myself for you? You've given us nothing. I know nothing about your situation. Some of you have got school, some of you have got work. It's like, yes, that's why I'm here. To earn more money so I don't need to do that.
If you leave, you get nothing.
Yeah, you get
And if you stay because you want to play, you still get nothing because then your team is out.
See, this is why I just don't believe this works, because why, like, what's the point in sacrificing yourself when in previous rounds you could have sacrificed yourself, but you could also have got money and left? Like, it's not raising the stakes at all, really. It's just kind of like, oh, people have just got to kind of give themselves up again. That's great.
Somebody needs to sacrifice themselves and go home.
Yes, well done, love. Finally, you've discovered the game after 5 minutes. Now, one woman from the white team does sacrifice herself, bless her, I don't know why. The only interesting thing that happens after this, in this entire part of the game, is the tactics that the white team then use to kind of manipulate the other team. They basically go on the phone to the other team and go, I think we should just not let anyone go home, let's just get to a tiebreaker and see what happens, knowing fine well they've got one less person and they would go through. It's so dark, but I'm kind of here for it, but it's dark, but I do love it. It just shows how evil people are. You can't trust anyone. Not when money's involved, guys.
They propose that we make it a tiebreaker. We vote nobody out right now.
What if we say yes and don't?
It is so funny that the tactics people will use to fuck other people over. It's wild. There's nobody in this show that you're rooting for. You kind of hate them all. I don't know if that's what the show intended, but surely, like, you need one person to root for. Like, you know, at this point, if they just stopped the 100-mile-an-hour kind of, like, speed of it, and you just got to know one or two people, and they kind of followed them on a journey, like, just with little cutscenes, it doesn't have to be all revolved around them. You would want to root for them, but there's no one you're rooting for. You just want them all to lose.
I'm gonna go. He was proud.
I don't want to feel like I'm just shitting all over this because, you know, there is good aspects to this show, but when people are saying, yeah, I'm going to sacrifice myself, I feel nothing. Maybe I'm dead inside. I think I might be dead inside, to be fair. But I genuinely feel nothing. There's people walking off crying. I'm like, yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing you, so I don't really care, if I'm being honest. And normally, like, I feel like I'm a very empathetic person, but for some reason, I just can't get emotionally attached into this show. However, there is points that are entertaining. Both of the teams get quite a few self-sacrifices. However, the white team, I believe, had 4, whereas the green team had 3, so everyone in the green team goes home. And I'm kind of happy. Because, like, if you weren't willing to sacrifice yourself and then you lose, it's like, yeah, you're going home with nothing like the people that sacrificed themselves. However, the people that sacrificed themselves have got a clean moral compass. And then there's a montage of, like, people who've lost crying. I don't like to see people, obviously, you know, clearly distressed and clearly sad because they know they're leaving with nothing. But, like, how are you meant to get connected to these people when the first time you see them is when they're no longer part of the show? Like I said, they've shot all of this footage prior, so even if they did, like, an interview with one of those people that went out, like, 20 minutes before, just a quick, like 15-second interview talking about why they're here, and then you see them go out, you'd be like, oh my god, like, you'd feel something. I just think it's because MrBeast is so used to just having to be like a million miles an hour. I don't feel like he's the type of person that is emotional. Like, I've watched interviews with him. He doesn't seem to be like a very deep person at all. And it's clear that this show just isn't isn't deep at all, even though they're trying. You can tell they're trying, but it doesn't get you like that. The next game then involves them throwing like a ball into like a giant cup. However, like, it seems really easy because everyone can kind of just do it. So then MrBeast brings in this like golden cup, which has like a smaller circle, and if they get it in that, they win like some money. However, nobody actually tries to win it because that's then too hard. So then the golden thing just never actually gets a mention after it was introduced.
We're gonna find out if you're a team player or if you just want some money.
But like, we've already established that none of these people are team players, really. There might be a couple, but everyone who's left is selfish because they're not willing to give up them. They're here for themselves. Like, why are we constantly trying to see if these people are selfish? We know that they're in it just for the money. They don't care about the people that they're here with. We've already established this. One thing I will say is there is some like intense interviews in this section from the team that are losing.
I did this for my kids that I take care of. My jobs are on the line.
Like, obviously that's horrible to watch because, you know, this woman's like really desperate. Like, she's like, come on this show is like a must. Like, she needs to take something back with us. Like, it might be like a last resort, and obviously it's hard to watch, but that's what you want. You want emotional things. Like, I now feel a connection towards her. I want her to go through and win now, but that's the first time, in my opinion, you really feel a connection with anyone. That's the only person, and I don't even know her name. So there's only so much you can you just have to go, oh, well, that girl with the green hair. But because it's a TV show and people are going to give you like more of a chance and stick with the show, you know, they could have got some clips maybe with her kids and talking with her kids, or just anything, just to kind of make you feel more and more. So then if she eventually does go out, I would feel sad. And again, I feel like this challenge kind of falls a little bit on its arse a little bit because one of the teams just runs away with it and is like so far ahead by like, I think there's like on the white team there's still like 6 or 7 people that need to take a throw and the other team's already won, and like nobody risked going for the gold cup, so there was no, you know, anticipation for that. They tried to build like a little bit of suspense by giving the losing team a motivational speech, but it kind of was dry.
We are not in a deficit. Every shot is your shot. It's the only one that matters. There is no lead that is too great. I was playing what's that game? Cornhole today. Everything is...
Like, why did they even leave that in? Like, it wasn't even, like, that funny or any... It was just awkward. Like, it just kills the speed of... It's oh my... So then the team that lost goes home.
And now it's time for floor 1! Some good old-fashioned trivia! Each group of 4 will compete against the same group of 4 in the opposing team.
And the team of 4 that gets the most right then wins a point for their overall team, if that makes sense. It's a little hard to track. And again, it kind of falls a little bit flat because the questions are so easy. They're like easier than the ones on Tipping Point. For instance, one of the questions is, who's the founder of Amazon? It's towards the end, it's like a quick kind of change. They then do have like harder questions, which then does kind of get one team out. And then the show progresses to the last game of this episode, which is actually the most interesting part of this episode overall. The remaining players then split into 4 different teams, and out of them 4 different teams, they need to pick one person that can't be bribed. No matter how much money's put in front of you, they won't take it. And there's one really funny bit in this because there's somebody trying to like kind of open up about, you know, their struggles, etc., and somebody just shuts them down immediately.
I live in a vehicle. I travel full time. I planned on driving to Argentina after this.
That automatically gets you out.
He's not homeless, okay?
Some of these people are genuinely awful. He's not homeless. Yeah, he lives in his car, does he? Well, that's his choice. I choose to live in my house, not my car. That's his problem. That's why I keep reiterating that I'm not rooting for anyone, because the people that are left, like, you have to be a bad person. You have to be somewhat of a bad person to progress in this show, in my opinion. Not everyone, but the majority. And the reason why I think this challenge is better than the previous ones in this episode is because there's a huge twist which Jimmy introduces. So when each of the 4 captains get on stage and are in front of the bride button, Jimmy twists it by saying, by the way, the money that I show, you get it, but you also stay in the game. Your entire team goes home, but you get this money and then you get to play for more. So it kind of ups the stakes a little bit, which like we've needed. I know I criticised like him playing the same game and trying to like prove the same thing, but this one has a little twist which I do think is better.
If any of them press this this button, they will win $5,000. This counter is gonna go up faster with time.
This is brutal. This is brutal. This is good. It is so dystopian though. It's the fact that everyone who's on this show, you'd imagine, really needs the money, and then they've just got, like, you know, this insane amount of money where all they need to do is press a button. I know it's the game, but you've got to be a certain type of person to even kind of put people in this scenario.
500 grand! Are you guys chronically insane?
I love that Jimmy just can't, like, understand how people would just not take the money to, like, mess other people's opportunities up. Like, he can't wrap his head around it. That people have a clean moral compass. It's like, not everything is about money. Like, if it had £1 million on there and I took it, yeah, I've got £1 million in my account, but I don't think it's worth the guilt. Like, I already feel like I'm a person that carries guilt for, like, tiny things. This would ruin me. I wouldn't be able to get out of bed knowing that I'd done that to other people. Let me know if you would take it, by the way, or, like, how much it would need to be for you to take it and, like, mess up everyone else's opportunity to earn money.
900! Oh my god!
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Surely somebody has to take it.
The thing is, like, I know I wouldn't take it, but it's just because of the type of person I am. But I guarantee all the people screaming for the people on the stage not to take it, at least 50% of them would take it. At least. Because these are meant to be the most loyal people in the entire group that are on the stage. There's people there that would have took this money.
Oh my god.
Is he taking it? Is he taking it?
It then gets to £1 million and nobody decides to take it, and you can tell by Jimmy's face that he's a little bit disappointed by this because there's no real payoff, and with Jimmy's content everything is set up, payoff, set up, payoff. But I actually think this is really good because this gives them an opportunity for these 4 people, for the audience to finally have a connection with someone. They can build like an entire kind of structure around these people's journeys now. Now, I don't want to run through the next one step by step because I feel like they're kind of the same thing, a lot of these challenges, but they don't really dive deeper into those 4 people as much as I wanted them to. They do give them some interviews and people are like thanking them, and one of them gets rewarded by somebody else for like not pressing the button, but it's still not enough in my opinion, because now there's 4 people in this show that you actually like for the first time. This is such a huge opportunity for the show, and this is my main criticism of MrBeast's games. Like, I struggled to watch into the 3rd episode. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one, it just kind of, I felt a bit deflated after it because it's so intense to watch. Your emotional battery is never really fulfilled because there's no real emotional moments in it to keep you watching. And that's why I think doing a TV show is so different to structuring a YouTube video. Like I mentioned previously, they've shot all this footage in one go and then we'll try and create storylines afterwards, but it just seems like the storylines weren't really, well, I mean, there's no storylines really at all. It's just challenge, winners, losers, challenge, winners, losers. There's no, like, correlation between any of the challenges or following any specific person through them. That's why when I previously mentioned, when there's people crying, etc., it's like the first time you're seeing them, so you don't really, you know, you don't really feel anything, unfortunately. I do think that the reason that there isn't many emotional moments in it is because it's so high-paced, like, they never slow it down. With YouTube, a lot of content creators choose to have very high-paced videos because, like, if people are watching on desktop, not in full screen, there's like 10 videos for people waiting to click on, like 10 videos that can take people off your video. With Amazon, you've got it on the telly. There's no like distractions, you're just locked in watching it, so you're allowed to just take a little bit more time. When I was researching afterwards to see if like any kind of emotional moments did happen in the show that they could have worked with, there was like a couple. For instance, somebody proposed to somebody, but we just never seen it. Unless I missed it, unless I went for a cup of tea at that point. Like, how good would that be to build a narrative around? Like, let's say one of them gets voted out, you're rooting for the other person, and you can create like this kind of narrative where this person's trying to do it for his wife that he's just proposed to. Just, you know, the little things like this just get, like, reward the viewer's kind of emotional aspect of watching a show. And again, these are criticisms. There is plus points to the show. I'm not saying it's all bad, but these are just things I would like to have seen to make it better. And the last thing is, it's basically, like, it is obviously like a rip-off of Squid Game, like how they, in Squid Game, they have the money, like, at the top, whereas MrBeast has the money, like, where he's standing on it. The henchmen that I used to kind of keep the games intact in Squid Game are kind of copied by MrBeast, but they're just all in black. There's, like, a control room that they show, like there is in Squid Game. And I won't lie, I kind of felt weird watching it, because I felt bad, because these people are in need of the money. And it makes you feel a little bit like you're one of those, you know, those rich people in Squid Game with the masks that are like enjoying other people's misery. You kind of feel like, morally, I didn't know how I felt watching it. How did you feel watching it if you have watched it? How did you feel with me covering it in this video? And you can tell that he's basically tried to kind of half rip off Squid Game, because every single time Squid Game was tweeting like about like an episode dropping or about something happening in an episode, MrBeast responds to every single one of the tweets saying like, Beast Games is out, new Beast Games is better, Beast Games episode 3 is out, so is Beast Games episode 3. It's like, what are you doing, bro? One thing that I kind of can relate to MrBeast with is, obviously with YouTube, like he's just got the algorithm mastered. Like he knows how to make a video get 200 million views, which is like mental. But producing content for another platform which has a total different algorithm and doesn't work how YouTube works is totally different, and it kind of makes you start from scratch again. Like I've got a unique perspective on this because me and my girlfriend had a Spotify exclusive podcast called TMI with Cam and Chloe, and I found it really strange to like get people to go over to a platform where there's not much recommendation. Like you can't really stumble across stuff. It's a platform where people kind of half know what they want to watch and they just want to watch that and then go and do what they want to do. So that's the reason you're probably seeing MrBeast be a little bit beggy, because like that's the only way you can get people to watch his show. I had a little look to see what the reviews were of this show, and IGN actually give it a 2 out of 10, which I think is like really harsh. Like considering a YouTuber's done this, like this is a huge thing for a YouTuber to do. You have to give them props for like being able to put this on, I guess. It's definitely not a 2 out of 10 entertainment wise, but I don't know if I would give it higher than a I don't think it's a 7, maybe it's a 5, a 6. You can tell by like the overall audience score that people either loved it or people hated it. There's just no in between. Like look at this. Most of the reviews are just saying how much it's like a rip-off of Squid Games, and like I've previously mentioned that. Fat Louise said, a show where a bunch of narcissists get rewarded while the idiots sacrifice themselves for the narcissist. Basically, abusive relationships in a game. That is what I said. The people that are sacrificing themselves, you don't like feel good because you don't want them to do it because you hate the contestants. Whereas some people called it a masterpiece. So it would be interesting just to hear your opinions on it, and if you agree with what I've said or if you don't agree with what I've said. I saw there's actually a class action lawsuit against MrBeast because apparently the conditions that the contestants were in weren't very good. Apparently some people were like given meals that weren't enough for them like to fill them up, so they were hungry. People have claimed that he's exploited them behind the scenes. So if you do want to have a little look, I can link this article in the description, but I don't really want to talk too much about that because that's more of a drama video, and I just wanted to keep this mostly about the structure of the TV show. But when you're dealing with 1,000 people, how are you meant to treat everyone nicely? Like that's your fault for getting so many people in. There's no way that you can look after 1,000 people. That's ridiculous. Just to break a record, like is it really worth it? I guess that's for you to decide, isn't it? Anyway, if you would like me to react to the second half of Beast Games, let's say like 6,000 likes on this video and I'll do it, just to give me an indication if you did enjoy this video, and also let us know in the comments if you want me to do that. If you want to watch me cover another TV show, click this video right here, or if you want to see me cover some recent MrBeast drama where MrBeast actually messaged me, click this video right here.